So, like, what? Does everyone on Purge Night go to Party City and get makeup and costumes or something? Like, what? Hello everyone, The Forever Purge has arrived in cinemas. I've been a fan of this series since its inception in 2013. The first Purge film is an underrated home invasion film, and The Purge Anarchy is the film we all knew The Purge could be the first time around. I love Frank Grillo in that, in Purge Anarchy and Election Year. Overall, this is an enjoyable film, but it is going to strike a nerve with some people, and it's kind of shocking seeing how the series has evolved over this past decade. Seeing this once dystopian future catch up to our reality, our political climate, and after the events of 2020 and after the events of January 6, 2021, this is shockingly eerie. This is so much like our reality, it kind of frightens me at this point. And this film is wonderfully directed with a great cast. It's directed by Everardo Gotti, who of course had some work on Romeo and Juliet and directed some TV episodes. He crafts a beautiful film that's well shot, has a great pace, and is quite frankly blunt where it should be. And it has a wonderful cast. Forgive me if I mispronounce these names. We have Ana de la Reguera as Adela. We have her husband played by Tenoch Huerta as Juan. Josh Lucas as Dylan Tucker, Cassidy Freeman as Cassidy Tucker, Levin Rambin as Harper, Will Patton as Mr. Tucker, and Alejandro Eda as TT. It's again written by James DeMonaco, who is a creator of The Purge. In many ways, this film goes back to its roots. It's a microcosm of what could happen in our society. You know, the new founding fathers of America is pretty much a modern day GOP. And then Adela and Juan are Mexican immigrants who escaped the cartel to come to America, and they arrive when there was no purge. Since a purge has been reinstated, the film starts off with their first ever purge and having to survive that. Is this film the best it could be at different perspectives? Not entirely. I wanted to see like an all-out war movie where with the new founding fathers of America supporters, it doesn't matter if they're white, they can be other races. And I wanted to see like the African-American, Mexican-American, Asian-American stance. But we do get an immigrant story here. And this does go very heavily into racism and xenophobia, as well as colonialism in many ways. They don't want any foreigners. Any person of color or anybody who disagrees with the new founding fathers of America are fair game. And this film changes the formula of the 12-hour purge. We get to see a little bit of that. And the first half does feel very much like the previous Purge films. The second half becomes an action film, and in many ways is like Sicario meets Mad Max. I love all the leads here. These are probably the most compelling characters I've seen since the first two films. And Will Patton is amazing in this film for the short role he has, and in many ways he represents the old world that knew what America was, knew the value of American pride, and not this perverse thing it's become with the new founding fathers of America. As it may know, election year ended on a happy ending, and we heard riots. They got reelected, and this is a very different monster that the new founding fathers of America did create. They pretty much have to face their own creation. And even the new founding fathers of America are trying to send military and have martial law. They don't agree with them. So it changes the game by having the forever purge and collapse of America, which again, I think if a group did decide to do that, they would have a lot more opposition, which is kind of hinted at the end of this. But overall, I think it has some scares, thrills. The first half is very slow, and this film reminded me more of the original movie, how slow it was at the beginning. And that's not a bad thing. You get to see the everyday lives of these people, what's going on in the society before all hell breaks loose, and I love that. The past couple of films were feeling more generic, more Hollywood, and this got back to the political, social commentary of Purge and Purge Anarchy. And what can I say if this is the final film? It's a great way to go out. Now, it doesn't have as much crazy stuff as the previous films. I think they push the horror envelope more, but this is a different type of movie in many ways, and I absolutely love it. Somebody of Mexican heritage, somebody as a Texan, I really love what they did with this film. The scope of this feels epic. For just being in Texas, it feels grand. You really feel like the world is crumbling around them. I also like Cassidy Freeman and Josh Lucas. Cassidy Freeman, of course, for any Smallville Longmire fans, She's great in this as Josh Lucas's wife. Josh Lucas, with the certain feelings he has with other characters, kind of reminded me a bit of Ethan Hawke in the first one, but I love seeing Josh Lucas in another role. He's been in some supporting roles lately, but I haven't seen him in a movie in like a main character role for a long time, and it was great to see him back and see him work with this couple of Adela and Juan. I love it because like they kind of want to stick to their own kind, but at this time they're like, we're working together, so yeah. They kind of have to survive. These group of people have to work together if they're going to make it out alive. And the story does set a ticking clock of like America collapsing, these crazy purgers going nuts, and them having to make it to the Mexican border in less than 6 hours. It does create a Mad Max vibe. Overall, this film, if you're a Purge fan, I think you're going to enjoy it. If you go just for the kills and horror, you might be a tad disappointed, but if you like The Purge, starting with the first film, the second film, and the kind of social commentary it has on our current political climate, then I think you're going to be pleased with this. Absolutely. This film basically brings everything that was set up and everything that was subtle and in the background, everything that was subtext in the previous films out into the forefront. The monster has hatched into a dark, grim, blunt reality. And this shows all the rage, hate, and racism that was underneath the surface in the other movies come out to the forefront here. And it is a striking example of like the dangers of where our country could go if we're not too careful. And I always loved the Purge films, film like an escape from our current world, film like a dystopian what if, but it's no longer film like a what if. I haven't watched the Purge film since 2016. It felt too close to home, and this one really is inspired by what's been happening in our country. Is it really that hard to imagine? Just looking at all the images, it's just hard to imagine that this was written and filmed before 2020. That just like really shocks me. Even with some of the stuff with voter suppression that's going on, you can see the stuff in this film like we could easily end up here. Will it be that much of a landslide? Will it be that much with no opposition? No, I don't think so, but we'll see. It does kind of hint at America being taken back by regular citizens who basically want to eradicate any new founding fathers of America, or basically like Nazis, neo-Nazis. And I think that would be a cool final film. I always envision these films as like a war movie for the finale, them taking back the country. And I would love it if they brought back Frank Grillo's character from Anarchy and Election Year, and if they went after the other people who are organized, all these other so-called new founding fathers, these forever purgers, you know? I would love it if they went after them, the forever purgers, and it'd be like one kind of like modern dystopian Civil War movie where like we the people bring America back from the brink of the chaos that the forever purgers and the new founding fathers of America created. So if I had to give the Forever Purge a score, I would give it a 3.5 out of 5. It's enjoyable. Is it the best movie ever? No. Did it execute its ideas in the best possible way? I think they could have pushed it further, but I highly enjoyed it, much more than I thought I would. And what can I say? I think it's worthy to add to the Blu-ray collection. If you like the first two films, I think you're going to enjoy this one. It was definitely better than the first Purge, and I liked it a little bit more than Election Year, even though Election Year was more of a conclusion as far as like wrapping up the trilogy. I like what this did. It felt more in line as far as the social, political commentary, felt more in line with the first two films, and I like that it kind of went back to its roots while also changing the formula entirely. I guess with Conjuring and this, it's been the year of changing formulas. And if you're a fan of Ana de la Reguera, I highly recommend checking this out. It's been her year with this and Army of the Dead. Overall, I like the whole cast and direction and everything about this movie. And it's quite a haunting look, almost an exploitation film in our current era for the 4th of July. So yeah, if you're a horror fan or a Purge fan, I recommend giving it a view. I still think Purge Anarchy is the best, so like I would probably rank Anarchy as my number 1, then The Purge. And then I like this one, even though Election Year is better in some moments. I like this one more than I did Election Year. So Election Year and Forever Purge are here, and then I would have the first Purge last. Even though certain moments of that in the main character reminds me of Anarchy. So I definitely have it under the first two movies for me. Anyway, those are my thoughts of the Forever Purge. Are you a fan of the Purge series? Let me know down in the comments below your favorite installment from the Purge franchise. Have you checked out the TV show? I still need to watch season 2. Let me know down in the comments below. In the meantime, you can subscribe for more videos. Follow me at FredFilmFanatic on Instagram and check out these other videos for more content. God bless America and have a happy 4th of July.